Good morning, it's Councillor Glen here, and I am at Johnny Leroux Arena, and I'm in front of the Stittsville Cenotaph. And I came here today just to remind everyone about Remembrance Day coming up on November 11th. The Stittsville Legion, as they do every year, will be organizing a ceremony, but like last year, we're still in the pandemic, so it's going to be a bit of a subdued ceremony. There won't be the parade down Main Street this year, nor are they setting up the grandstands that they do for the event. So a very small ceremony, trying to keep the numbers low here due to the ongoing concerns with COVID. It's at 1:45 on Thursday. That's the tradition that they do here in Stittsville, just to allow people time to attend the ceremonies downtown or in Richmond or other parts of the community, and also here in Stittsville. Johnny Leroux, by the way, some of you may know this, some of you may not. Johnny Leroux is a Korean War veteran and still living here in the community. And I know he was talking to some of our park staff here last week, so Johnny Leroux is still out and about. It's always fun to run into Johnny any time of the year. This time of the year, in fact, this over a 5-day period, is also Diwali in our community. So if you are, well, I was out walking about on Thursday night in my neighborhood, seeing lots of colorful lights, lots of tea lights in doorways and windowsills, and some sparklers and even some firecrackers I could hear in the distance. So this is the celebration of lights. So I'd like to offer some best wishes to everyone celebrating Diwali this weekend. Okay, so what's happened this week in our community? Lots of things. First of all, I want to thank about 30 volunteers who came out yesterday late afternoon to help Wayne and Darlene rake up some leaves. They're an older, couple of older seniors in our community and really feeling overwhelmed by some of the yard work ahead of them. So I put out the call for volunteers, and I was so impressed to see the number of people who came out. I think it really proved many hands make for quick work. We were in and out of there about 30 minutes, and 20 bags of leaves all filled up. So thanks everybody for helping out there. I also want to say thanks to the students at Sacred Heart High School. There were a couple times this week where they went out and did a community cleanup just around the Trans-Canada Trail and around the school. I know the school's put some additional bins there, and there's going to be some additional signage and a little bit of education from bylaw officers as well. But thanks to the students for doing your part to help keep the community clean. Really much appreciated. Around the community over the last week or so, you may have seen some of the flex stakes being removed from streets, the yellow safety signage in the middle of many streets. This is a seasonal thing that city staff do. They don't mix well with snowplows. So come the fall, the flex stakes are removed, and then probably in April or so, those flex stakes will be reinstalled. But what it means is between now and when we start to get some snowfall and snowbanks, it really opens up the street for speeding again. I always say the point where we start taking those out demonstrates how effective they are, because already we've had some calls and emails from residents telling us that they're seeing a lot of speeding, more speeding on their street now that those flex stakes have been removed. So my reminder to you this morning is slow down, take your time. If you're driving through a neighborhood, please obey the posted speed limit. On most residential streets, it's 40 kilometers or lower. And also at stop signs, please come to a full stop. It always amazes me that one of the most basic signs on our road, that 8-sided red octagon, means stop. So please respect those stop signs. It's very important for the safety of everyone, whether you're biking or walking or driving. Please slow down and obey the signage. We have some ongoing new development files. So I mentioned 37 Wild Pine, I think a couple weeks ago. It's a proposed development at the end of the cul-de-sac on Wild Pine Court. We have a date for the public meeting. It's December 6th, and you'll be able to find information on my website. We have a new development application at 360 Bobolink. This is for a apartment complex, Bobolink and Robert Grant. It's on the east side of Robert Grant. Now, I met with this group a number of weeks ago, and the first proposal had apartments only. Now that they've formally submitted it, they've done what I encouraged them to do, include some retail, some local commercial. This is good. It's still not a lot. We're still going to be pushing for more. I'm also really concerned at how much pavement they have across the whole site. Usually when we see proposals for apartments and so on, the parking goes underground, but just an ocean of asphalt on this site. So that's another thing we're going to be working on to improve. Some work continued to prepare for some trunk sewer installation and detours on Shea Road and Fernbank. The contractor's building some bypass roads on Shea Road, just south of the soccer fields near the rec center. And then on Fernbank at Edenwild, also building a bypass road. This is so that the work can happen without having to shut down the roads entirely. Some of those bypasses are going to begin in November, later on in November, a couple weeks from now. There are a few residents in Edenwild where for a short period of time, you're not going to be able to use, to get onto Fernbank from Edenwild, so you'll either have to go around kind of the Hartsmere side, or there's going to be a temporary access road built out towards Fluellen, so you'll have that option as well. We'll have some more information to share on my website pretty soon. It's a busy week at City Hall with some of the official stuff going on. On Wednesday, we tabled the budget. That means the draft budget was published, and it kicks off about a month of discussions and consultations and debates around the community. It does include a 3% rise in taxes. 1% of that is dedicated specifically for infrastructure renewal, which basically means for the most part, upgrading roads. One of the big projects that's set to be done next year in Stittsville is Abbott Street. I've been able to move that up sooner, and through that Abbott Street renewal, it's between Stittsville, Main and Iber Road. We're going to look at what we can do to improve the crossing points for pedestrians and make that street safer and slower as well. Anyways, lots in the budget. I'm going to post something on my website this weekend with some highlights for Stittsville, some of the capital projects that are coming up, and also some of the citywide initiatives. Like, for example, we're hiring a number of new paramedics, so that benefits the entire city, including Stittsville. We also had an update yesterday afternoon from a group called TRA. There are technical advisors for safety and return to service for LRT. We still do not have a date yet for the return to service for LRT. Looks like it could be sometime in the next 2 weeks, but there's a number of conditions that need to be fulfilled by Rideau Transit management before that train can return to service. I think, without going into great detail, it was a 4-hour update. What stood out for me was I think what a lot of us have been suspecting is the maintenance and management regime of Rideau Transit management is really not functioning properly. And under the oversight of TRA, they have some new processes in place. They've been getting things back in the right direction. But OC Transpo is going to really have to set up a stronger oversight group to make sure that the processes, that the steps that are supposed to be taken for preventative maintenance actually are taken and checked and done properly. Anyways, more on that in the coming days and weeks. On Monday night, I'm on the Ottawa Board of Health, and we received an update from Dr. Vera Etches and her team at Ottawa Public Health on vaccination plans over the next few weeks and months. A big focus is flu vaccines, so you can get that at community clinics, your doctor, and your pharmacy. A big focus is third doses for certain individuals in the community who qualify. There's an announcement from the provincial government earlier this week about an expansion of qualification for third doses, including, I believe, folks who are over 70 years old who live in the community. There's information on my website and on the Ottawa Public Health website about that. And we also got a preview for the plan for rolling out vaccines to 5 to 11-year-olds. There's still not approval yet from the federal government or the provincial government, but as soon as there is, Ottawa Public Health is ready to go. The booking systems will open up, and there'll be a ton of spaces available. And they figure they can vaccinate any 5 to 11-year-old who wants to be vaccinated, whose parents give permission to be vaccinated within a matter of weeks. So that will roll out very quickly when it's ready. And one other thing from City Hall, we got an update on the work of the city's Anti-Racism Secretariat. This is a really important project, a priority that was brought forward by Ralston King, one of my councillor colleagues. And we got an update on some of the consultation that they're doing. They have set up an advisory table, and there's going to be some additional surveys and feedback gathering around the community, but some really important work to identify issues of systemic racism at the city and beyond in the community. And, if you are someone who's involved in a large organization, in a community group, maybe a parent council or a service club or a sports organization, I want you to go to my website, on the front page, you'll see a link to the Anti-Racism Secretariat update, and there's a What We Heard report, and I would really encourage you to read that. I think a lot of the things that apply to the city also apply to a lot of community organizations as well in their efforts to break down barriers to participation and break down some of the systemic racism that we're seeing in so many institutions in our society. So really good work by that group, and encourage people to check that out and read it. There is a bit of a chill in the air today, so I'm reminded about what's coming up soon, which is outdoor rink season. We have a number of outdoor rinks in our community and might have 1 or 2 more this year, but we need some volunteers. So all of the outdoor rinks in Stittsville are run by volunteers. If you are interested in taking part in a rink in your community, please send me an email and I'll be happy to connect you with other volunteers or with city staff if your community might have a rink that could be established as a new rink this year. And that's it for me. This afternoon, I'm heading over to Kitty Cobbler. They have a fundraiser on today, a fundraiser called Shoes on Their Feet, and they're also raising money for a foster pup named ADC Hartley. There's an organization that trains dogs and gives them to children who need ability assistance dogs, so kind of a good cause. It's at Kitty Cobbler on Hazeldean, near where the Food Basics is, basically. Anyways, looking forward to that. I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.